Greetings, everyone. Please let me know you can hear me by typing a Y on the text chat. Excellent. So great to have you here tonight. How's everyone feeling this evening? I'm very well, thank you. So the title of this webinar is How to Manifest Something in One Day. So before we get started, please just type on the text chat where you're currently logging in from. So we have Chicago, Berlin, Melbourne, Australia, Illinois, Las Vegas, Germany, Canberra, Australia, West Australia, Montana, Portland, Texas, New Hampshire, Florida. All right, so let's go ahead and get started. The title of the webinar is How to Manifest in One Day, but we're going to go deep into manifestation, and you're going to learn all about energy, frequency, and vibration. We're going to go into the basic quantum physics of this, and then we're going to go over why you haven't manifested what you want and what actually controls this. We'll also talk about how to go from your current frequency that you're vibrating and oscillating at to the frequency of what you want so you can be aligned with that and you can see it in your reality. We'll also talk about how my students and I have been doing this and how you can learn how to do it too. So what is the big problem? Well, the big problem is you're not able to manifest what you want. And so in this webinar, you know, I'm going to make an offer for you to solve this problem. And whether or not you get the offer, I suspect you'll find tremendous value in the webinar. But this is basically the problem that most people on the planet have. So let me know if this sounds like you. Who here has watched tons of trainings or YouTube videos and you still don't have what you want? Just type a Y in the text chat. All right, lots of Y's flowing down the screen. Who here also just feels confused with all the manifestation teachings out there and they don't even know what is true? You see, you have to realize what's going on YouTube. Like a lot of people just go on YouTube and they watch video after video after video. And the people that are creating the videos are not really creating them to give you the actual knowledge. They're creating the video to get likes and comments and to basically go by the YouTube algorithm because they're not making their money teaching people how to manifest. They're making their money by running ads on their videos that say manifestation is just so easy, and then they create these, these video tabs to make people click on it, clickbait. People start watching the video, and that's really all they care about is the amount of hours that they watch the YouTube video. That's why you see some of these creators creating 12-hour long manifestation meditations to watch before you go to sleep. Why do you think they do that? They do that because in order to monetize a YouTube channel, you have to have 4,000 hours of watch time. And so when someone goes to sleep watching your video, you might get 8 hours of watch time right there. Does that make sense, everyone? So you're not going to find a lot of really useful, detailed information for free on YouTube. That's just not going to happen. That would be like Babaji going out there and doing a live video. He doesn't do that. He doesn't even show up to anyone. He showed up to like 4 people in 3,500 years. So you can't really you know give knowledge to public people that have a very low frequency, because a lot of them won't be able to receive the information. It's like when I put out these webinars, it goes out on the soul plane first. And so your soul gets the frequency of the information and then basically taps you on the shoulder and says, you might want to attend this. And that's why some people that registered are here and some people are not. Some people simply don't have the frequency to receive this information. And so, how many of you have seen people around you that are not smarter than you, manifesting all kinds of great things, and you can't understand why? Yeah, so there's something going on besides the intellectual knowledge, right? Besides the IQ. And it has to do with your energy and your subconscious. And so, for those of you who don't know me, this is why you should listen to me about this. I've been working with this for over 23 years. I've done over 8,000 live webinars and workshops like this. I have 12 published manuals out. I have 2 books. And I started DNA Perfection back in 1999 to help people clear blockages to activating their DNA and embodying their higher self. So that's what I've been focused on. And over the years, I've worked with thousands of people. Actually, I've done over 1 million clearings and DNA activations via webinar, because on the webinar, I can have up to 1,000 people on here and do them all at the same time. And so I've done webinars, live workshops around the world, entrepreneurial masterminds, all kinds of things to help people raise their frequency and to be free and sovereign. So that's what I've been focused on. And over the years, I've had the privilege of working with a lot of mentors who have also helped me to raise my frequency. And I am, of course, I'm still working on myself every day. And through these webinars, it actually helps me to embody the teachings, because you don't really know something until you have to teach it. And then you really have to master it. And so these are some of the things I've been doing. And basically, there's so much misinformation out there about manifestation that I wanted to include it in this webinar so you finally get it. But basically, in order to manifest in one day or any time frame, you have to realize that you're tuning into something that already exists. Okay, I want you to write that down. You're tuning into something that already exists, and let that sink in. Because look at this little diagram right here. This is a good way to understand it. You see these lines here? These lines represent different frequencies. And so let's say you desire to manifest something that is up here, but you are down here in this present reality. So this is your current frequency, and this is the frequency of that which you desire. Now, that which you desire already exists. Okay, it's already there, but you can't see it because your frequency is down here. Does that make sense, everyone? So these are basically frequencies of manifestations. So this is a reality you're intending to manifest in just one day, but it's up here. And since your frequency is down here, you can't see that. So it's not like you have to create this up here. All right. It already exists. So this is the main teaching from the webinar is the reality you desire already exists. And that should really be a relief to you. So if you're trying to manifest something in just one day or in any time frame, you have to understand there's a universal truth that says that every single thing is energy in motion. Everything is just flashing on and off. So the chair you're sitting in right now, the walls around you, your physical body, the reality you're in right now, where you live, your house, your bank account, your career, your job, your love life, your emotional state, a house that you actually want, it's all just energy. Does that make sense, everyone? Just type a Y if you're still with me. All right. So more specifically, it's all a specific vibratory pattern that we call a frequency. You know, at the quantum level, your DNA vibrates and oscillates at a certain frequency. So let's say your DNA is vibrating and oscillating at 180 gigahertz. Well, that's your vibratory pattern. And so you will attract to you everything that resonates with that. People, places, times, things, events, and opportunities. As well, science tells us that energy is never created or destroyed. So when someone says, you know, I want to create this specific amount of money, like, you know, $100,000 per month or something like that, technically it's not the correct way to say it. Not the correct way to say it because energy is never created or destroyed. So what you want already to exist is just moving through a perpetual transmutation of energy as you are. So it's shifting through different frequency patterns, just like when you heat water and it starts boiling, it changes into steam. And so when water changes to steam, it's just a different vibratory pattern. You know, if your eyes were attuned better and you could actually see beyond the third dimensional vibratory spectrum, which is called visible light, then you would still see the steam, but most people can't. So every manifestation is there and it's all happening right here at this exact time, and it's based off of different frequency patterns. And Nikola Tesla said, you know, if you want to understand the universe, you have to think in terms of energy, vibration, and frequency. How many of you are familiar with that quote? Just type a Y, please. I mean, this should be ingrained into you. If you want to master manifestation, you know, have this quote around you or write it down. And so the first step to all of this is to think in terms of frequency. And if you think in terms of frequency, you're coming from the assumption that what you want already exists. Because the idea of manifesting something in one day, if it doesn't already exist and you have to create it, you know, that seems a lot harder. And also, you're basically fighting against the laws of nature. But if you realize that everything already exists, then it doesn't seem too far-fetched that you could manifest something in one day. Now, the other thing to realize is this is what you really look like energetically. You have a huge auric field around you. And so your body is only about 1% of who you are. And, this auric field can extend for miles around you. And this is what is actually attracting the things into your life, because this has a certain vibratory frequency. This is it's really a beautiful picture of who you really are, because when you walk around, you have this huge energy field. And indigos, indigo type 1 specifically, with a 48 strand DNA template, their auric field can extend for 144 miles. So you're like this giant magnetic portal. Now, if you could perceive all of these frequencies, like all the different light spectrums, and see yourself like this, you would realize that your body is only about 1% of who you are. And this is your energy field, and all of reality is energy fields. So everything in reality is composed of an energy field. Buildings, cities, countries, you know, all other beings and people. This is your frequency pattern, and everyone has a unique frequency pattern. Now, the important thing to realize is that this frequency pattern also holds the level of your financial reality. It holds the level of your relationships, the people you attract, and the general plot and circumstances and situations that come into your life. So it's a frequency pattern, and everyone has a specific frequency. Does that make sense, everyone? All right. It's in the exact same way, an analogy is 97.5 FM is a specific frequency pattern. It has a specific manifestation. For this station here, it's a specific, rock music station that plays. If you contrast that with, say, 91.4, this is a different frequency pattern, that plays like gospel music or something like that. So they're two distinctly different frequency patterns. Another analogy would be your phone. All the phone is a frequency pattern. And the frequency pattern is my phone number or your phone number. So if my phone number, you call it and you hit my frequency level of information. Does that make sense, everyone? All right. So if you look at your body right now and you start to imagine it as an energy field, just like this image here, you start to think of things differently. So what determines your energy field? That might be the question that you have. Well, it's your intentions, your perceptions, and your consciousness. So let's say, you have a perfect energetic field like this, and then, something happens to you. Let's say you're in a relationship and you perceive that that person betrays you. Okay, so what happens? Well, if you perceive betrayal, then you might fall into victimization. At that moment, you go analogical, where your mind just seems to stop, and you fracture off your energy, and it creates these things called ids or identities. And so the ids are lower vibrating energies that get stored in your chakras. So your heart chakra, that would be where is of betrayal would be held. And so you might have like a black cluster of is from all the betrayals that you've had in your life. And this will lower your frequency. So you might have resentment from these betrayals, and that's a lower frequency. And you might have a belief that you can't trust men or you can't trust women, and that lowers your frequency. And so you're carrying around this in your field. Does everyone see that? Everyone here has probably had all kinds of negative experiences, right? You might have negative experiences with money, and these are stored in your second chakra, 2 inches below your navel. And those lower your frequency and then attract you to the same situations of lack and limitation. And so this is what you're carrying around, and a lot of it you're probably not aware of, but the reality that you have right now is just a reflection of what's in your energy field. So when you think about your body, we know that now from science, you're a community of 100 trillion cells. But if you stop thinking of yourself as a body and you start thinking of yourself as this community of 100 trillion cells that at the quantum level are just made up of energy, then you can start to see how all of this works. And all of your cells respond to consciousness. Every single one of your cells is alive. They all have consciousness. So your thoughts are running through your bloodstream. Even if you have unconscious thoughts or subconscious thoughts, those are all running through your bloodstream. So if you have a lot of resentment or guilt or shame or self-loathing, you can literally shut down those cells, or you can manifest a cancer in your body. And that's scientifically proven now. So, this is very important to know, because your thoughts can make you sick or your thoughts can make you well. Now, your thoughts are just energy. They're a frequency level above visible light. So you can't really see your thoughts, but all of these things we talked about, your past experiences, your beliefs, your assumptions, all of these create this energy field that exists beyond your body. And so in layman's terms, for those of you new to this, you could just call it a vibe. And you can pick up on somebody's vibe, whether you're into spirituality or not. How many of you here can pick up on someone's vibe? Just type a Y in the text chat. You could pick up a good vibe and a bad vibe immediately. And the reason why is because everyone has an energy field and they're emanating at that frequency. And so you can just be around people and immediately know if you're going to be able to like and trust them or not. So at this point, now you understand these following precepts. If all the energy that was ever was and ever will be already exists, and it's all based off of the different frequency patterns, All you need to do is what Nikola Tesla said, which is to match and sustain the frequency of what you want, and you can't help but to get it. So I suggest you write that down. All you need to do is to match and sustain the frequency of what you want, and you can't help but to get it. So the question is, what is keeping you from going from here, down here, to there? The reality you're intending to manifest in just one day or in any time frame. Just type on the text chat, what do you think is keeping you from going from here to there? Okay, frequency, beliefs. I don't match the frequency of what I want. Yes, I'm glad you understand that. Disbelief. Yep, that's the big one. Disbelief that you can get there. Not consistent in frequencies. Okay. Yeah, disbelief is a big one, but that's really general. But yes, if you don't believe that you can attain this reality, you're not going to be aligned with it. You're not going to be a match to it. So what really keeps you from going from here to here are the lower vibrating energies in your field called ids that we talked about. So if you have a lot of ids of, say, unworthiness or undeservedness or shame or guilt, you don't feel worthy of this reality, then that will keep you down here. If you cleared those ids, then you would be able to raise your frequency, go up to where you could eventually see this reality, and then it would manifest. If your frequency was here, then you could manifest this in one day. Does that make sense, everyone? So this is really powerful, just holding this image in mind and thinking, okay, whatever I desire already exists. I just require to raise my frequency to where I can see it. And so this is how ids are created and how they affect you. As I said before, ids are created in what is called an analogical state of mind, where time just seems to stop. So it's a very emotional event in your life where it's a shock. And at that moment, you fracture off your soul's energy into ids. And these ids or identities are these that are stored in your chakras. So they fracture your energy field and they lower your frequency. And ids of doubt and disbelief are the ones that stop you from achieving your goals and becoming a frequency match to your desired manifestations. So, in order to go from where you are to where you desire to go, basically you have to suspend your disbelief. So, you may have heard this before. How many of you have heard this before? Yes, this is a general thing that people talk about. You have to suspend your disbelief, but it's not that easy. You can't just say, okay, now I believe I'm worthy of this reality, when you have, you know, 20 years of unworthiness is that you've created, or you grew up in a household where your parents were telling you that you were unworthy, that you would never amount to anything. You know, you get that programming by the time you're 7 years old. And so when you grow up, you can't just say, okay, now Toby, I suspend my disbelief. I'm going to raise my frequency, 100 points immediately. So my approach to this is to clear all the is that contribute to the disbelief. And many of you have received, all kinds of clearings from me where we've cleared certain situations from the past, and you were able to raise your frequency and then attract a new frequency grid of people, places, times, things, and events. But basically, you do have to suspend your disbelief. So how do you clear the lower vibrating is and do this? Well, that's where I come in. I basically help you to clear all of those past is so you can raise your frequency and then align with that desired reality. And for most people, there is a lot to clear. But you can get to the point where you can manifest something in one day. Like, for example, my 1% challenge students. So a few months ago, I created this 1% challenge where the challenge was to increase your money by 1% each day. And the reason I just said 1% is because this is easily perceived by most people to be possible. And so the basic premise is you start with your current money, say you have $5,000, and then we focus on raising this 1% per day, compounded daily. And so, for example, the first day you would only have to make $50 because that's 1% of 5,000. On the second day, you have 5,050, and then you have to make 1% of 5,050, and so on. Well, you'd be amazed at the power of just 1% compound interest per day. So let me just pull up a calculator and I'll show you how this works. Just 1 second. All right, can everyone see this compound interest calculator? All right, so you could just Google this online and you could do it yourself just to see how it works. But basically, you put in your initial balance. So let's say you started with $5,000. You're going to manifest 1% daily. And let's say we do it for 1 year. And the compound interval is daily. Okay, so compounding daily 1%. And so we hit calculate and look at the result here. You start with 5,000 and you end up just 1% per day of 188,917.17. And here's the chart of how it actually works out. So you see in month one, the interest is 1767.24. So now at the end of 1 month, you have 6767.24. And then it just gets more and more until you get down to the last couple months, and you see the interest now is over $36,000. Does everyone see that? It's pretty amazing, isn't it? So my idea was to help my clients do this and just do 1% per day. and I made a challenge for them to do it. And so one of my clients, Tamara, has been doing this. And let me just see if she's on the webinar. Yeah, let me just have her explain what she did and what we did to manifest this. Tamara, are you there? I think she's here. Can't hear you right now. So this is a spreadsheet. You can go ahead and talk whenever you can, Tamara. This is a spreadsheet that basically shows all of the beginning baseline balance. Like she's in Germany, so it's 5,000 euros. And she started on June 13th. So she created this spreadsheet to keep track of it. And as you can see here, this is what she's supposed to make per day, and this is what would be the combination of the 5,000 plus that. And this is what she actually manifested. So we'll just go down through here, and you can see as of today, she manifested over 104,000 euros. So we were focused on just manifesting 1% per day. And as you can see, she manifested much more than that. And so how did we do this? Well, basically clearings, I would give her next required actions, and it doesn't look like Tamara's audio is working, but whenever you get it working, Tamara, just let me know. And so can everyone see how powerful this is? Just type a Y on the text chat. You see like there are some days when she didn't manifest anything, but then there are some days where, she manifested over 15,000. And so she manifested much more than 1% per day. And, when we first started, she was like, well, this is a little bit tedious to do. Well, the reason I have her send me this is to keep her on track, because if you don't stay on track and you're not focused on manifesting at least 1% per day, which is easily doable if you do the next required actions, then it's not possible. But, every single Monday we have a meeting, and, we clear whatever's the highest priority things for her. And this last Monday, she was at 88,000, and she said, let's do a manifestation to crush 100,000 this week. And we both did the manifestation, and sure enough, she sent this to me today. She's at 104,000 right now. So that's pretty cool. So with Tamara, we did the 1% challenge, and with her, we did it for the focus of her healing practice because she has a healing practice. You know, she's certified and licensed on most of the modalities that I teach, and she also is a best-selling author, and you know, we help to manifest that along with, you know, she works on animals and specifically cats. So when we started, she invested 2,500 with me to help her to manifest at least 1% average per day for 90 days. And so, as I said before, we worked with her on clearing all ids, so we're blocking her from creating this. And I'd also give her next required actions to perform in the 3D. And so her assignment was just to do these next required actions and then send me her results. And so that spreadsheet is what we co-manifested. Does that make sense, everyone? So great job, Tamara. I think she's trying to log in again so her audio will work. So the question I have for you is, would you like me to help you to manifest something like this? Just type a Y on the text chat. Tamara, is your audio working now?
I hope so. Can you hear me now?
There you go. Yeah,
Yeah, so I had
I
to
was
log in
clear.
again. I'm
I was
sorry.
clearing some blockages.
Awesome.
So can you just tell them like how we did that? Like what was like the process that we went through to do that?
Yeah, so first of all, I couldn't hear what you shared about it while I'm checking my micro. So first of all, there was a lot of resistance from me in the beginning to do it. So I went back and forth, and then no, I really have to do this. So what was I got from my higher self? So we started with this. And the first couple of days were really happy because you really have to check every single day what are the actions I take and what is it I manifest. But then I've learned that by doing this consistently, I could see immediately what works and what doesn't. And then we got into a process, and I mean, you cleared so many stuff on me for years now, and we got into a process of really doing it, and then it's really fun to see how that works. So then it amplifies itself actually.
Yeah, because every time you raise your frequency, you're raising your financial level of consciousness. And so when you first started your healing practice, you probably, you know, were not making near that much, right?
Yeah, of course not. Yeah.
And so now it's much easier. There's less effort required because your frequency is up there. And the higher your frequency is, the less effort you have to do because your field just attracts that. Is that the way you see
Absolutely.
it?
And yeah, absolutely. And September was my best month so far. So we're onto something here.
Yeah, and you did say that it was a little bit tedious at first, right?
Yes. Yeah, and then you have a couple of days with a zero in it. And I mean, but it gets you going. Yeah, it's also important to have transparency on the numbers.
Yeah, if you just focus on making 1% per day on what you have,
Mm.
you can manifest that easily and you can see how it compounds. You know, you're probably made at least 10% per day average. So if you put
Hmm.
that into the compound calculator, you know, we're talking hundreds of thousands of dollars by the end of the year.
Yeah. So that's really amazing. Yeah. And
Well,
when I
thank you
said
for
after the
coming on
three
and sharing.
months, so I will continue to do this for myself. And we talk about it anyway,
Yeah,
yeah.
because if you don't keep track of it, you don't know what you have to do, and you're not focused on manifesting. But I'm really grateful you came on, and also that you're just like, you do everything that I give you, and there's no resistance, and that's why you're so successful.
Yeah, clearing resistance is a big one.
All right, so thank you so much, and we'll talk to you soon.
Thank you.
All right, so there's a couple questions on the text chat. One is, what if we just have a job, get a paycheck, and don't have a business? Okay, well, there's a couple of options. Like with Tamara, I helped her with her business because that's what she's focused on. You can also start a business on the side. We can do a manifestation for that. I can help you with that. The other option is, I also, you know, play baccarat for people, and so, that's another option that some people want to do. But the main thing to get here is that everything you desire already exists. So if you are on a C where you're operating as an employee at a job that you don't like just to get money to pay your rent, then that's telling you you have something to clear, right? I remember when I was working for a company, and one day I was in this long 3-hour meeting, and I was hating it. I was like, why am I here? I had that question. Why am I still coming to this job? And what came to me was the belief that I couldn't do it on my own. And so I was already into energy clearing, and so I worked on that belief. And when I cleared that, I just saw how ludicrous it was for me to be getting up at 5 o'clock in the morning, driving to a place which is very low frequency with a bunch of resentful people, and being in arguments in meetings over putting a semicolon in a file. you know I finally just said, I'm going to start my own company. I'm going to do what is actually in line with my soul's purpose, and I'm not going to be coming here anymore. And it was such a relief to do that. And so if you are in a situation that is like that, where you're just dreading doing it every day, then there's definitely something to clear. Does that make sense, everyone? All right. So if you do want me to help you, like I helped Tamara and other people, what I've created is something called the Accelerated Reality Creation Training. And so the purpose of this training is to master manifesting what you want in one day or any time frame. Also, you're going to learn the secrets of the universe, the 369 manifestation technique that, you know, is basically from Tesla. You're going to learn about how that correlates to your DNA and how your DNA is a projector of reality. And so once we create your manifestation, it's programmed into all of your DNA strands, and then your DNA projects that hologram. And so I have many brand new accelerated reality creation techniques. And I'm calling this reality creation because, you know, we're really not manifesting anything new. We're just constructing new realities. And so this also covers intuitive manifesting. It also covers the new IM method I created, intuitive access method, where you can find the answer to any question, and how to go from the frequency you are now to the frequency of that which you desire. And so the goal of the training financially is to manifest at least 1% on your current money per day for 90 days. So we're focused on clearing you of all lower vibrating blockages that are keeping you in disbelief so you can raise your frequency and easily align with that desired vibratory reality. The way that the accelerated reality creation training works is we will meet once a week for the training. And in that meeting, I'll clear you of the highest priority is. Now, for this, everyone is different. And so you and I will talk about what you need to clear. You know, different people have different past experiences, analogical experiences, and I can clear the ones that most people have, like shame and guilt and unworthiness and undeservedness. You know, I can do that for the majority of people, but some people have all kinds of, you know, serious things like emotional and physical abuse, you know, things that not everyone has. And so a lot of things that I've been doing right now are about clearing birth trauma. So I've had all kinds of new clients show up where I'm clearing birth trauma from them and also their children. And so everyone is different, and we'll have to talk about what you need to clear. But every week we'll focus on clearing the highest priority is the ones that are keeping you in that lower vibratory state. Once we do that, I'll then teach you the accelerated reality creation technique, and we'll do it together. We'll co-manifest for your desired manifestation, just like I did with Tamara, to set it in motion. You know, two people manifesting is more powerful than one. And I'm a pretty powerful manifester, so it's good that you have me with you so we dually set your intent in motion. Once we set the manifestation in motion, I'll give you your next required actions. You'll perform those, and then you'll send me your spreadsheet once per week, which shows your 1% results per day. Now, again, the reason we do this is to make sure you're consistent, because without tracking results, we wouldn't know if and when we achieve the manifestation. And it's really good to have it in this spreadsheet form because it's just mathematics. You know, Galileo said the key to the universe is mathematics, and Tesla basically proved that. And so you will most likely do much better than 1% per day once we make progress on the IDS clearings. You know, like Tamara, she did much better than 1% per day. But just be aware that your whole life is run by the 95% of your subconscious patterns that you may not be aware of. And these is exist at the subconscious level. And so that's why we're focused on clearing the ones that are keeping you in that lower vibration. Now, once you're clear and you have no more doubts, you're able to truly suspend your disbelief and easily see your manifestations. You know, then you're able to finally put the frequency pattern of your desired manifestation into your DNA and your energy field. And so you align with that. So basically, again, you're moving from the lower X to the higher X, which is an actual place, a frequency pattern that already exists. Remember this? I want you to remember this image. So the accelerated reality creation training will clear lower vibrating energies in your field called IDS, the ones that are keeping you down here. And then when you raise your frequency, you're up here, and then you can manifest in one day, at least 1%. Right now, what is keeping you away from it are the ids, which create the disbelief. You know, if you believe that you're separate from it, or you believe that you need linear time of 365 days or 3 or 4 years to get what you want, then you're solidifying a frequency of limitation. Think about that. You're solidifying a frequency of limitation. It's like whenever you say, I can't, you're solidifying a frequency of limitation. So once you solidify a frequency of limitation, you can only attract things that match that pattern. So that's why it's important to clear those ids that create disbelief. Once you suspend your disbelief, then what happens is that you merge with what you want. And so this is illustrated quite beautifully with the following quote. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. So write this down. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. It's like here in Vegas, there's one guy who's the best blackjack player in the world. And I used to see him all the time. And I thought that he was, way above me. And we never connected, we never talked. And as I started working on myself and basically practicing and, working on solidifying the belief that I am the best baccarat player in the world, we started connecting. Now he's my friend. We go play together. You know, we talk about chess. He's very smart. But before, I saw myself as separate. Does that make sense? So you probably have many things in your life like this, where you see it as separate. So the moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. I was talking with him the other night with a group of people, and I said, well, he's the best blackjack player in the world. And he was like, well, Toby's the best at baccarat and money management because he's more of like a gambler. He'll gamble, $2 million in a weekend. But this is so true. When you fuse with your desired reality is the career, even a job, the money, the opportunity. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse with it. And this union results in the activation and the projection of its plots, plans, conditions, and circumstances. And so this new state of conscious awareness becomes your home from which you now see the world. That makes sense, doesn't it? So right now, you can't fuse with your desired reality because you're in a state of misalignment. Right now, you're in a state of misalignment because you're down here and your desired reality is up here. It won't change without clearing the is. Right now, you can't fuse with that desired reality because your energy field is vibrating at I do not have or I cannot have. If your energy field is vibrating at I do not have, due to quantum physics, what do you think that you'll be shown in your reality? You'll be shown how you don't have it, right? That's what you'll be shown, because your expectation collapses those waves into space-time particle events. And you can only get your level of awareness. So all of these subatomic particles respond to consciousness. If at the quantum level you have these ids that have a lower frequency, then that will keep you from fusing with your higher frequency desired reality. And this quote from the Bible actually explains quantum physics. This is one quote that I do like. To those that have, more will be given. And to those that do not have, even that which they have will be taken away. So I want you to write this down. This will be the most powerful thing that you learn. To those that have, more will be given. And to those that do not have, even that which they have will be taken away. So what does this actually mean? So you could watch a million videos and webinars, but if you don't clear the is, nothing will change. It's like going to a counselor or a psychologist for 10 years. After the end of 10 years, you would consciously understand your problems, but nothing energetically will have changed. So you would be in the latter part of that statement, which says, to those that do not have, even that which they have will be taken away. So what the quote is saying is, for those that have, more will be given. It's saying that if you possess something in consciousness already, you're going to get more, because the outside world is a holographic representation of the inner you. It's like people that have poverty consciousness. You know, there was a documentary where they gave this homeless person $100,000 with the agreement that they would follow him around for a year and see how things manifested. Well, since the homeless person had lack, limitation, and poverty consciousness, they ended up losing all the money and then eventually going back to worse than they were before. And it's the same with, lottery winners or, NBA players. Last night, the LA Clippers, they're in town, and they were in the high limit room. And, I can see the ones that have poverty consciousness and the ones that have wealth consciousness. Now, for a person with wealth consciousness, they could lose all their material money, but then they would be able to remanifest it quickly. Like when Donald Trump went $1 billion into debt, since he had wealth consciousness, he was able to recreate that. So for those that have, more will be given. If you possess something in consciousness already, you're going to get more. Does that make sense, everyone? All right. So basically, the outside world is a mirror that reflects back to you your present state of consciousness. And so to those that have, more will be given. And since now you know that all the energy that ever was and ever will be already exists, once you're clear of the is, it will just take a short period of time, just like it takes a minute or so for water to boil and to turn into steam. So you actually can manifest in one day. I've done it, my clients have done it. but it does take some 3D time for the energy to change into a physical reality. And this is really our focus in the accelerated reality creation training, is to master this. Because remember, the reality that you're intending to manifest in just one day already exists. It's already there. There's a frequency pattern that already exists. So what you need to think about first is, remember this image down here and think of yourself first as a spiritual being in a physical body that has an energy field that is emanating out into the ether, into the quantum field. And based on the vibratory pattern, which we call a frequency, based off of that frequency of your energy field, you pull circumstances and situations that match your energy back to you. Okay, does that make sense? If you look at this field, that's what you attract into your life. All right, so you can manifest in one day with this training. You can go from where you are now, here, to where you intend to be, right here. But first, we require to work on this, because this is what's manifesting your reality right now. Any questions so far? If you have any questions, just put those on the text chat. So remember, you are tuning into something that already exists. The moment your belief matches with any state, you fuse, and this union results in the activation and of its plots, plans, conditions, and circumstances. So this new state of consciousness, your home through which you see the world. So you're literally at a different level of reality. So you can manifest in one day. Here is the details of the accelerated reality creation training. Here's what it includes: 3 months of training and mentorship. So we're going to do October, November, and December, and get you prepared to go really big with 2023. So normally a month of mentorship with me is 5K. So that's 3 months, 15K total value. I'm also including the ultimate Tesla 369 manifestation technique and activation code. So that's a 2525 value, actually 2528. I'm also going to help you with the 1% challenge mentoring to help you compound 1% of your money per day. And so as Tamara explained, that was 2,500. So the total combined value of the training is $20,028. And the accelerated reality creation training tuition, which is only for 12 people and only available on this webinar, is only $2,500. And so to get your spot, get one of the 12 spots, send me a message on Skype at shivananda.brahmananda. And when you send your message, I want you to send it this way. Say, I am in, I suspend my disbelief now. And so that intention will actually be a great start to our work together. And it'll be very easy for us to clear the highest priority ids that are keeping you from your desired manifestations. Are there any questions? So what are ids? Ids are identities that are created in an analogical state of mind where time seems to stop. is are the lower vibrating energies that keep you stuck and keep you at a lower frequency vibration. Any other questions? Yeah, to get one of the 12 spots, we have 321 people on the webinar. There's 12 spots. Send me a message on Skype. I'm in. I suspend my disbelief now. Well, that's the thing. Everyone is sending off a different frequency, Neil. So what I've learned is you can't force anything. All you really have to do is just show up, and the right people will show up around you. If you want to get back to someone who you know is a lower frequency, then that lower frequency exists in you. So that's what we require to clear. You can't be around people who are not at the same frequency. Any other questions? All right. Well, I'm really excited about this training. I can't wait to help you guys manifest at least 1% per day on your money, as well as teach you the brand new Ultimate Tesla 369 manifestation techniques, the intuitive manifesting, and also the I am method, the intuitive access method. All right, I'm going to jump on the Skype and go ahead and give you guys the link to sign up. Thank you all so much for being here tonight. I hope you got a lot out of this. I'm here to help you. So send me a message on Skype and let's do this. Namaste, everyone, and much love to you all.